Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to be reviewing a Netflix original. I think it's a Netflix original, and it's called Veronica. Now, this film originally came out in 2017, but I think it just came on to Netflix in 2018. So it's kind of one of those deals where it's already been out, but it's just come out on Netflix because it's not in English. It's in, I think, Spanish. I don't know what language it exactly is in, but besides the point. So I am a big horror fan. I love horror movies. I watch even the most dog shit horror movies, even like Insidious: The Last Key. I love horror movies in general. And so when I was hearing all the hype about this, because I happened to find this online, I was seeing all these reviews and all these different responses about like, oh my god, this is the scariest Netflix movie of all time. This is one of the most scary films you'll ever see. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta see what the hype is about. So I sat down and I watched Veronica, and the first thing that took me back is it's not an English film. It's not in English. I believe it's in Spanish. I don't know if that's the exact language, but it's in a language I don't know, so who knows. Um, but I watched it, and I have to say it was a good horror film. Now, is it the best horror film? No, I've seen better. I could think of two off the top of my head. Annabelle Creation and The Conjuring 2 were better than this, but that's not to say that this was a bad film. Um, the film it's pretty enjoyable. It's a very well paced film. Because a lot of horror films fall into two problems, and it is they either have an over reliance on being too suspenseful and being too jump scare filled, or they go the complete opposite and they're just too fucking boring. Veronica, it kind of has a nice blend because it's not too boring, and the little filler that's in the film, it actually makes sense. Like, it's not just filler just because they wanted to pad the time out. It actually makes sense within the story. So I like that. And I also like that the characters in this were pretty likable, and the kids were, for the most part, pretty likable because, and maybe it's just me, but normally kids in horror films are very annoying. And this could be just amusing. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks like this. But I found that most kids in horror films are either annoying or they're the generic creepy kid. And in this film, they kind of have that little creepy kid trope that they have in most horror films. But, it's not the kids that are possessed, really. It's the teenage girl who's possessed. And the kid, the main girl, who's not really a kid, she's a teenager, she did really good. I think she has a really good career ahead of her. I think she's actually in real life like 18 or 20. Like, she's not that old really in real life because, normally they typically get like mid 20s to early 20s to play people in their teens. But I think she's actually a teenager. Um, but yeah, moving ahead here, this was good. I mean, I can't really say anything else about it other than I'd recommend you to go see it. It is, I mean, if I had to have one problem with it, is that it does have some generic horror film, I don't know if you call them tropes, but it has that thing where they split up and they go off their own ways, and I'm like, why the fuck are you splitting up from these kids? And you know that there's some type of demon in the house. Why are you not staying with them? So I kind of had a problem with that. I didn't like how they kind of had the, we got to split up now. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, now we know what's going to happen now. When they split up and something scary happens, they go back, the people are magically gone. It's the same thing. I mean, if you've seen any horror film, you've basically seen what I'm telling you right now. As far as the writing of it, it's written really good. There's not a lot of characters. It's not like one of those horror films where it has a ton of people that get killed off just because. Like, this isn't one of those films where you have like 15 people that are just there for death fodder, so you can like have all these gruesome deaths and jump scares and like these people die in predictable ways. That's not how this film goes. And so I like it. A part of why I think this film works is because it doesn't really, for the most part, follows a generic horror film format. It kind of has its own nice blend. It's not too scary. Like, it's not one of those films where it's just like always like back to back to back all these scares. But it's not like Insidious: The Last Key where it's like, God fucking damn it, will something happen? It's a nice in between. So I like that. I really like how it's paced really good because I've found that a lot of horror films do not have good pacing, and it could just be me, but I really don't think a lot of horror films have good pacing. It has either very intense pacing where it's like always something happening, where it's like a cat jumping out of a window. I've actually seen that happen before. It was like a horror film where it was like a cat jumped out of a window and it screamed and that was like a jump scare. Or like someone opens an umbrella and it's like a loud sound. Or it's like the other way where it's like nothing happens for 30 or 40 minutes and you have all this boring dialogue between two characters that you really don't care about. In this film, it's the complete opposite. You have characters who, even when they have like downtime or filler time, it makes sense. Like, and it's not just like, okay, these people are just talking so they can like fill a gap until something else scary happens. When there's actually something as far as like dialogue going on between two characters, it makes sense and it fits in the story. And I like that. And really, in this film, most of the characters are characters. Like the main girl and her siblings are like the main characters. There's really not a lot of main characters outside of them, but they have a mom there with them, and the mom was good too. You have the mom who's a single mom. She's working a lot. She doesn't have a lot of time to be home. So the teenage daughter kind of has to take care of her younger siblings, and so both of them are kind of stressed from the responsibilities they have. So I like that. So you had a lot of character development. This was a pretty character-driven film, which I liked. And at the end, it makes it even more emotional because in a lot of films, they try to do the format they do here, where you have like characters who have relationships and they try to build on them in the film, and it just does not work, and you don't end up giving a shit about the characters. In this film, by the end of it, you probably are going to care about these characters, and when bad things happen to them, you're like, wow, that's pretty fucking sad. I feel sad. I feel bad for these characters. I want them to actually get out of this okay. And I thought that was good. I'm glad that they actually were able to do that in this film. So, overall, I have to say that I'd give this film a 90%. And if I had to give it like a 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9.9. The only reason I'd give it that is because there were a few points where I was like, that's kind of predictable, but, it wasn't that bad. And there was like a few points where I was like, the special effects could be a little bit better, but, this film isn't really that much of a heavy CGI film, so you don't really have to worry about that much. But, yeah, that's my take on it. It's a great film overall, and I totally recommend that you watch it. So, you guys let me know, what do you think? Have you guys seen Veronica, or have you not seen it? And if you haven't, you definitely need to go see it. So, I think that'll be it for me, and with that, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.